Volunteer Fire Company, we have James I. Raley. From Jefferson, we have Donnie Coram, Mark Lakin, and Tommy Lakin. We have Mrs. Bobby Hartsock, Brunswick Ambulance, who is also being recognized for shock trauma nurse. At Brunswick Ambulance Auxiliary, both deceased, we have Dorothy Moss and Anna Thornton. We have State Senator Jason Gallion, who was nominated by Level. And from the 17th State Circle Committee and the Convention Committee, we have Miriam Nicholson. Okay, is everyone up? The winners, the inductees of the Hall of Fame for 2023 are as follows. From Ocean Pines, Jackie Carey. And we'll be giving them a hat and some other things from the table. Robert Thomas from White Marsh. Zachary Paul Reed from Clear Spring Volunteer Fire Company. And while a representative from Clear Spring is coming or is here at the table, Zachary did die in the line of duty just a few short years ago, and he was being recognized by his company, and deservedly so. Charles W. Chuck Walker from Children of Adelphi. Thomas M. Edwards of Waldorf. Robert Keith Raley of Ridge Volunteer Fire Company. Carl B. Scully of Leonardtown Volunteer Fire Company. Russell W. Dawson of the Rockville Fire Company, excuse me. Stephen Jacobs, the Citizens Truck Company. And Marion Nicholson, Convention Committee and 17 State Circle Committee, and she is also a member of the Auxiliary of Laurel and Arundel. Is she here? On the way up? Okay, we also had one award that qualified for special recognition. A member of the MSP Aviation Division is Major Michael Tagliaferri in the room, or some representative that can pick it up. Okay, incoming president will pick it up. Okay, Doyle wanted me to make a mention about the new badge that will be, or pin will be presented along with the Marbury Gates 50-Year Service Award Cup. They'll be The recipients will be receiving these this year, and the previous years, I believe we're going to be making arrangements to get some of those distributed as well. Congratulations to all the award winners. Thank you.
Our next presentation will be the past president, C. Oscar Baker Rookie of the Year Award, with the contingency of the Mount Airy Volunteer Fire Company, and the chair recognized Doug Alexander. Along with Rick Baker.
Good morning. I'm Rick Baker, and I'm past president of Mount Airy Volunteer Fire Company. The past president C. Oscar Baker Rookie of the Year Award was established by the Mount Airy Volunteer Fire Company and accepted by the MSFA Executive Committee in 2002. The award was established to honor past president C. Oscar Baker for his 60 years of active service to the citizens of Mount Airy, the surrounding communities, Carroll County, and the state of Maryland. Oscar's commitment during his career to training and working with young firefighters in the past is one of the paramount reasons we are excited to sponsor this award. The presentation of the past president C. Oscar Baker Rookie of the Year Award is bittersweet this year. This is the first year that we will present the award without Oscar being with us in person or by video. It is also bittersweet to present this award without past President Terry Thompson with us. When the Mount Airy Volunteer Fire Company was planning the celebration of Oscar's 60 years of active service, Mount Airy asked Terry, who suggested that about sponsoring an award at the annual convention in Oscar's name. It was Terry who suggested we sponsor the Rookie of the Year Award to the department and helped with the process of getting the award approved. All of the nominees have an impressive resume for this award. It is exciting to see the commitment and drive that these young firefighters have shown so far in their young careers. We hope each of you continue learning, training, leading, and serving for many years as Oscar did. Will the following nominees or a representative from the department come forward to accept the nomination? John K. Chambers from the Mount Airy Volunteer Fire Company. Dylan Ballantyne from the Westminster Fire Engine and Hose Company No. 1. Tucker Thomas Hedrick from the Mechanicsville Volunteer Fire Department. Greg Winchester from the Sudlersville Volunteer Fire Department. Robert Bickle from the Ridge Volunteer Fire Department. Samantha Camp from the Rosedale Volunteer Fire Department. Kyle Hunter Kasupski from the Hollywood Volunteer Fire Department. Mariah Thompson from the Odenton Volunteer Fire Department. And lastly, Dan Lawton from the Winfield and Community Volunteer Fire Department. Can a representative, if the people aren't here, please come up? Did they surprise you? That's Valentine. The winner of this year's award completed all of the training requirements for his county's cadet program while in high school and had the highest GPA of the class. He passed the EMT National Registry the first time while a junior in high school. Completed Firefighter 2, Pump Operator, EVOC, and Site Ops. Responded to 522 calls. Is a straight A student in high school. Works part-time and a shift supervisor at the local fast food chain. And at the time of this application was in the hiring process for 2 different career fire departments. This year's winner is firefighter EMT Tucker Thomas Hedrick of the Mechanicsville Volunteer Fire Department. Thank you very much.
Our next award will be the Firefighter Year Award. The chair recognizes Tim Dayton.
Morning. Get the great honor of presenting the Firefighter of the Year this year. We had a list of 10 nominations for it, and I'd like to ask each one of those individuals, if we're a representative from their department, please come forward. We had Robert Kimball from Sutlerville. We have Aaron Rabolowski from Gilton. Justin Winkler from Hollywood. We have Robert Dodge Jr. from Ridge. We have Stacy Lankin from Jefferson. We have Jonathan Hartling from Odenton. James Barnes Jr. from Mechanicsville. Mike Decker from Level. We have Zane Stahl from Winfield. We have Seth Panawis from Bel Air. That is our 10 nominations we have. While they're giving out the certificates for those nominated, I'd just like to go through just a few things for this year's winner. This year's winner, if you look at what we've talked about this week, we've talked about recruitment, retention. This individual has actually stepped up and done an outstanding job with the cadet department within their department, organizing drills for the cadets and the junior members, along with participating in fundraising events, raffles, and everything else with the regular duties of their department. Within the past several years, has taken multiple classes to improve and refresh their skills. Firefighter 2 instructors, 1 and 2, Fire Officer 2. But like I said, this individual has stepped forward and has done an outstanding job in what we're reading from their cadet and their junior fire department program. So this year's winner from the Jefferson Fire Department is Stacy Lankin.
Our next award is the Smith N. Statham Jr. Past President Memorial Safety Award, and Vice Chairman Mario will be doing the presentation.
Good morning again. We had 5 individuals that were nominated for the Maryland State Safety Award throughout the state, ironically. And they were Phil Ridgel from Ridge, Maryland, St. Mary's County, and Randy Linthicum from Maryland Institute of Emergency Medical Services System in Baltimore City. Barbara Bobby Stevens from Waldorf Volunteer Fire Company in Charles County. Cher Grog, and oh, here comes Cher. And Cher has, and I'll explain in a minute. Anyway, Cher is another advocate, and then somebody had nominated me, but thank you, but we can't be it anyway. The committee can't be it, but I really appreciate what you did. The committee looked it over, and I'll give you a little background real quick. Phil Ridgel has been very active down there with Ridge and has put together a safety program. The bottom line is they've had 0 accidents with his leadership on the safety side. He's really taken the safety side, and Ridge Fire Department has always been an advocate of safety, and they've done what they can to make things almost as perfect as they can. And it's been historic for the past 20 years that this has happened, and we really appreciate what they've done. They're a leader in the state. John David Black, and is David here? All right, David is was Assistant Chief in Salisbury Fire Department in Wycomico County. David, by the way, was just picked by the State Department of the American Legion as a recipient of the Maryland Volunteer Firefighter of the Year for the entire state. And congratulations to David Black. Many of you know David through his dad, Charlie Black, who sold fire apparatus for many years and was really strong in the association. And David has been an advocate and had taken over. David is an officer in the United States Army. I don't think he's retired yet. And David has taken safety as one of his, he's advocating safety throughout, intrinsically through the Fort Meade and the Army, as well as helping out the firefighters in the state with the crisis management and stress management and PTSD. And he also has been working closely with the safety committee on this. Randy Linthicum. Randy is the gentleman, put your hand up, guys. Randy is, again, from Maryland, from MIMS. Randy has been a strong advocate of safety in the state, dealing with the active shooter program and dealing with PTSD. And no matter what you ask of Randy, Randy is there for the Maryland State Firemen. He mainly is directed because of his occupation as the person who he works with EMTs and the state EMS system. But Randy is Director of Emergency Operations for MIMS, and he's working very closely now with the Maryland State Police to get us training throughout the state on the active shooter and the hot zones, and what we need to do as volunteer firefighters to not get hurt if we get a crisis with a place of assembly or whatever. And the next person is Bobby Stevens, my friend Bobby. Bobby is from Waldorf. Many of you know Bobby. She's been a recipient of the Hall of Fame Award. Bobby has been on this committee since I think it started. She's been a quiet but a awesome advocate of safety throughout the state, especially in the Southern Maryland district of the state. And Bobby and Dan have been instrumental in just making sure that they get the word out on what we're doing through our committee and what they do in Charles County. And no matter what you ask of Bobby, she's always there for you. The next lady is Cher Grog. Put your hand up, my love. Cher moved back here to Fenwick Island, Ocean City. Cher's family, part of her family died in the huge mansion fire in West Annapolis. And Cher, we've become very close friends. She just lost her son a couple of months ago, but Cher has been on TV. She has pushed getting rid of these Christmas trees when they dry out. That's how she lost her family. And making sure you got smoke detectors. Cher has taken it on her own through Ron and different people like that, Ron Sarnicki, to go throughout the East Coast and be on TV and everything, talking about what happened to her family and how to keep from burning your house down. A huge, probably one of the largest houses in the entire state of Maryland burned to the ground because of several different circumstances. But the bottom line is, what are we here for? Loss of life. And she lost her family. So the next person I got, get up here, short man. Mario Melfa. Mario was not nominated, but I'll share something with you. He is with the Chesapeake Insurance, and Mario is a very strong advocate of safety in the state. He has been the co-chairman, and John Fisher, we lost John Fisher down here back in January, but Mario needs to be recognized. We're not supposed to get nominated for this award, but no matter what you ask of this man, he does the research for us. You've always got to have somebody to research, and if a department or a district or Southern Maryland or whatever needs something, he has the way to do it through computerization to get us answers. For instance, I talked about heart attack this morning. So this is our statistic man for the state, and he works with numerous departments throughout the state as a occupation, as a job. How many years? 35?
42.
42, my God, you don't look that old. Anyway, but Mario is our man. It tells us what's going on in the state with injuries. So I introduced him to you for a reason. If you need to know something and you want to back up, or the chief is tired of hearing it and you need to know something, that's the man to contact. And Mario will jump in and help you. Thank you, pal.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir. Anyway, we went through the list, the committee, and with all the credentials of what this gentleman has done, the committee picked Philip Ridgel as a recipient of the Smith N. Statham Past President Memorial Safety Award for the state of Maryland. So, are you a chief or just safety officer? You've been everything probably. Come on up here. He's got to go out here to get his picture. Come on out here. President, where do you want to serve? Thanks, everybody. Thank you for what you do safety-wise. We can't say enough because we do get a ton of feedback. This is a real active committee, and when we meet, and by the way, we're meeting on Thursday morning, I told you, at 10:30 down at Performing Arts, directly after the executive committee meeting. We're going to be talking about these lithium batteries and about places of assembly, this active shooter mess that we're in. So you're welcome to attend, all of you are welcome to attend any of our meetings. We meet around the state, about every 2 months, 2.5, 3 months. Thank you.
Our next award will be the Francis L. Brannigan Instructor of the Year Award. The chair recognizes Michael Cox, Director of MSFA.
Thank you, Mr. President. If I could ask Chief Robinson to come out, Chair of the MFS-PQB. The Francis L. Brannigan Instructor of the Year Award, sponsored by the Maryland Fire Rescue Institute in conjunction with the Maryland Fire Service Professional Qualifications Board. Chief Robinson, the President of MFS-PQB, and myself are honored to present this award each year to instructors who are selected for their accomplishments for functioning as an instructor during this year. As you know, the EMS fire rescue organizations here in our state are some of the best in the nation. In these organizations, there exists a group of special individuals who are extremely dedicated and committed to what they do. These individuals take great pride in their work and go quietly about their duties, always doing much more than is required. Although limited in numbers, these individuals are the hardest working, most dedicated individuals who are always willing to accept the challenge. They routinely go above and beyond the call of duty, putting forth the extra effort to make these agencies the best that they can be. However, you will never see the exploits recognized in the daily newspaper or on the 5 o'clock news. They operate quietly, behind the scenes, participating in various activities over and above the call of duty. This year's awards winner is one of these individuals that I just described. A resident of Western Maryland, they became interested in the fire and EMS service more than 20 years ago and currently hold memberships at the Laval Rescue Squad and the Creppitstown Volunteer Fire Department. Just 8 short years ago, he became an instructor for the Maryland Fire and Rescue Institute. During this time, our award winner has logged more than 2,400 hours of instruction, with 529 of these hours being just this year. In fact, he has one of the most successful National Registry EMT pass rates of all of our instructors. Just the last 5 programs that he has been involved with has had National Registry pass rates of 100%, 100%, 98%, 93%, and 89%. Quite an achievement given that the national average of passing National Registry EMT is about 67 or 68%. In addition to his unrivaled success as an EMT instructor, our award winner has begun working as a mentor to other new instructors to help pass along his knowledge of these processes and help improve their success. Throughout his service, he's continued to earn the respect of his peers, co-workers, and fellow instructors by making a conscious commitment to always place the needs of his students, fellow instructors, and co-workers ahead of that of anything else. So with no further ado, it is with great pleasure that we present to you the 2023 recipient of the Francis L. Brannigan Instructor of the Year Award to Instructor Scott Wetzel. Scott, come on up.
Our next award will be the Zembire Fire Service Training Award. The chair recognizes past President Steve Cox.
First, I'd like to apologize. I didn't realize I was going to make this presentation, but it's my honor to award the Zimbauer Memorial Award. The trophy is presented by the Zimbauer family. This year's recipient is United Steam Engine Fire Company Number 3 Incorporated. A representative would come up, please. Frederick. They had a training average of 2,021 hours.
Our next award will be the John E. Sonny Rose Memorial Training Award. The chair recognizes Bob Rhodes of Odenton Fire Company.
Table out here for me. Good morning. I'm Bob Rose, representing the Odenton Volunteer Fire Company. In the audience today is my brother Bill. This is my niece Abigail. She represents the 5th generation of the Rose family, soon to enter the fire service, we think. At least she's interested. The John E. Sonny Rose Jr. Memorial Training Award is presented to the individual with the most eligible emergency services training in the state of Maryland for the previous year. I'm pleased, somewhat disappointed, but also pleased to announce this year's winner is someone other than from Odenton. In the entire existence of this award up till now, previous 6 years, a member of my fire company has won this award. I do want to read a small quote from Sonny that is emblazoned on the trophy. He dedicated over 40 years of his life to fire service training, both at his volunteer company and with MSFA across the state. And one of his dying comments was, "I hope that something I taught enabled someone to save a life." And we're pretty sure that's true, considering all the fire service folks that went through training conducted by Sonny. This year's recipient, with over 478 hours of emergency services training in the year 2022, from the Ferndale Volunteer Fire Company, is Kimberly Kirshner. Thank you all very much.
Our next award presentations are the MSFA Scholarship Awards, and the Scholarship Committee will be coming out with Len Hawkins chair and the presentation by Susan Mott.
Good afternoon and welcome from the Scholarship Committee. I'd like to take this opportunity to introduce the current members: Barbara McCrae, Chairperson Lynn Hawkins, Frank I'm going to mess it up, Frank Corazanti, Bob Ryan. We'd like to take this opportunity to recognize Rebecca Gilmore, representing Shock Trauma. Our representative from Delmarva Power is currently engaged in a demonstration downstairs. We'd also like to recognize Jim Brown, representing the Maryland Committee on Trauma. We would like to recognize the current recipients for this year's awards. Dylan Valentine, receiving the MSFA scholarship. He is currently majoring in fire, arson, and explosion investigation. He is a member of Westminster Volunteer Fire Department. If Dylan is here, we'd like him to come to the stage. And if not, if I could get a representative from Westminster Fire Department to come up. We have Robert Bauer, receiving the MSFA scholarship. He is majoring in nursing, and he is from Corriganville Volunteer Fire Department. If Robert is here, if he could come to the stage. If not, if I could have a representative from his department. We have Margaret Keswick, receiving the Delmarva Power Scholarship. She is currently studying emergency health service with a track for paramedicine. She is a member of Easton and Arbutus Volunteer Fire Department. If Margaret is here, if she could come to the stage. If not, if I could have a representative from Easton and/or Arbutus Volunteer Fire Department. We also have Griffin Brooks, receiving the Shock Trauma Board of Visitors Award, studying paramedicine. He is a member of Sykesville Volunteer Fire Department. We want to thank everyone, specifically Shock Trauma, Delmarva, and the Maryland Committee of Trauma for their continued support of the Maryland State Firemen's Association with their donations to provide these scholarships to our recipients. If those recipients could come to the stage and/or a member of their department. So, sir, you are accepting the award for Ms. Keswick? Yes? Okay. Very good. Do we have any other representatives? Westminster, Sykesville? We good? I thank you very much.
Our next awards are the Fire Prevention Awards and the Silver Spring Trophy Award. The chair recognizes Teresa Crispin, chairperson.
Good morning, everybody. First off, I'd like to say thank you to President Kurtz for allowing our committee to do great things for this state. Secondly, I'd like to thank Ben Barnes from the legislative support, our legislative support, for allowing us from appropriations to have a lot of money to give back to a lot of you all. So we're going to start with the Silver Spring Trophy and allow you all to hear about great people. Just to let everybody know, we had 4 nominations, and the Washington, D.C. Fire Department picked the winner. So blame them. Thank you.
So, good morning. My name is Mark Perlman. I'm with Silver Spring Fire Department. And before we begin, I'd like to introduce Lieutenant Myatt, who would like to come up and...
Okay, just so you all know, according to Wayne Powell, and nobody argues with Wayne Powell, Burt Brenner has been presenting this trophy since 1958. He is not with us today. He's at one of his grandchildren's weddings. So we wish him well, whoops. Well, and Mark Perlman will do the presentation.
So we'd like to thank the President, officers, delegates, distinguished guests, firefighters, emergency medical personnel, auxiliary, and everyone from their respective fire companies and rescue squads across the great state of Maryland. The President and Board of the Trustees of the 108-year-old Silver Spring Volunteer Fire Department and its members welcome you to this 131st Annual Maryland State Firemen's Association. I have the honor of addressing this convention, recognizing the men and women as firefighters, EMTs, paramedics, IV techs, auxiliary members who stand tall in our service to the citizens of the great state of Maryland. The Silver Spring Trophy for Fire Prevention Excellence was born from the efforts of those who have come before, some who are still here to guide us, and those who have gone from our physical mist and yet are remembered today for their contribution to fire prevention over the years. It recognizes the highest achievements in the field of fire prevention as judged by one's peers. The trophy symbolizes what we strive to do in the field of fire prevention in every community in our state in the year of 2022. The Silver Spring Trophy singles out an outstanding member of a fire department, rescue squad, ladies auxiliary who deserves individual recognition for efforts in the year 2022 in fire prevention excellence. We recognize these efforts and fresh, new, innovative ideas which bring to the fire service and respect to the fire company and give honor to our state association. For excellence in the field of fire prevention for the year 2022, it gives me great pleasure to present to this convention a man who has given 50 years of service. In that time, he has moved from a cadet at his local fire department to the state fire marshal. We present this Silver Spring Trophy for Fire Prevention to the Maryland State Fire Marshal, Brian Geraci. Just a few of his accomplishments have been improving fire investigator safety, focusing on cancer prevention, seeing the lowest number of deaths in the state of Maryland in 2020, working with the legislators to ensure residential sprinklers in new homes, ensuring that all homes have 10-year sealed battery, smoke, and CO2 alarms, as well as working on mental health issues and training for their staff and their families. In the last 50 years of dedicated service to protecting citizens and firefighters in our great state and beyond, we are proud to present this award to the State Fire Marshal, Brian Geraci. Special thanks to the Fire Prevention Committee for selecting today's fire prevention winner, and this trophy will be proudly displayed in the office of the Fire Marshal, and State Fire Marshal Geraci will receive a separate plaque, keeping in his home as a special remembrance of this morning's prestigious award. I hope your fire department can find the effort and time to submit their nomination for next year's convention. It is with excitement that we look forward to honoring our future winners. Thank you very much for your kind attention. Have a great convention, and let's have some innovative ideas for 2024. Thank you.
Hey, real quick, I just want to thank everybody for that. Here we go. I know. You know, this has come full circle for me. I started my career at Silver Spring Fire Department in December 26, 1976. And it was the best Christmas I ever had that year. And it was a great department. And the motto of the Silver Spring Volunteer Fire Department is, fire prevention is our most important service. And that stuck with me back then. And I saw a need back then. We weren't getting a lot of inspections done because we were running a lot of calls. I was at Station 1 downtown and loved every minute of it. But I came back and developed a program, and I became the first and only fire inspector for Silver Spring Fire Department. And went out and did inspections in Station 1's area. And a lot of mercantile, a lot of apartment buildings and those things. And every year I got them all done. So it was a shock to the chief when I told him that. But I can't express my appreciation so much and for this. And thank you so much for everything you all do down there. I know with your life safety committee and everything else, you guys do a great job. You continue to do it. You continue to focus on that motto, and I would ask that everybody else in this room go back to their departments and make fire prevention your most important service. Thank you so much.
Start this. Joe, you can pull up my stuff for me. So I'm going to go straight to the awards because I think that's the best part of this whole process. And we'll do updates later. But for every nomination that we received for the award, the books, and the 4 individuals and all the ambassadors that competed this year, they will be receiving a $500 fire prevention kit from the NFPA. That will not be released until July 1, and we will work with Treasurer Sarnicki. We will secure that information and order them right away for everybody. So if I have any of the other ambassadors that are here, can they come up forward, please? Ashley has gone from being an ambassador. She is now part of the internship for the Fire Marshal's office. So we greatly appreciate that opportunity for her to be with us today. We have 25 kits total available for this program. So year-round entries, Region 1, we had no entries. Region 2, we had Cobb Island Volunteer Fire Department and Emergency Medical Services. Region 3, we had Newburgh Volunteer Rescue Squad and Fire Department, Jefferson Volunteer Fire Company, Manchester Volunteer Fire Department Ambassador Program, and the Potomac Heights Volunteer Fire Department. Region 4, we had the Ridge Volunteer Fire Department. Region 5, we had Mechanicsville Volunteer Fire Department and Bay District Volunteer Fire Department. Region 6, we had no entries. Region 7, we had the Carroll County Ambassador Fire and Life Safety Program. For single projects, we had Region 1, the United Communities Volunteer Fire Department, their poster contest. Region 2, the Benedict Volunteer Fire Department and Rescue Squad Incorporated Trunk or Treat Program. Region 3, we had no entries. Region 4, no entries. Region 5, we had the Greenbelt Volunteer Fire Department and Rescue Squad Labor Day Open House Program and the Branchville Volunteer Fire Department Open House Program. Region 6, no entries. Region 7, no entries. So if you're in the auditorium, can you all please forward who I've named, please? You can come up and get your packets back. Again, the Washington, D.C. Fire Department's Fire Prevention Office, they actually handled the judging for this. And I can tell you that some of the ladies in the office really want to steal your all's ideas and help support fire prevention across the state too. They're part of their organization. They were very impressed with a lot of them, and it was very hard for them to pick. So in a unique situation, we were able to do a lot better than what we usually do for awards. Again, the NFPA packet, they still haven't announced our actual theme this year. They are trying to launch a website at the same time, so they've pushed it from June 1st to July 1st. Now it's July 10th. And once that information is given to us, we'll be able to get it out to everybody else. But we're all waiting for that stuff too. So everybody, don't leave yet. Just stay up here. Is anybody missing? Who hasn't come up yet? Is there Jefferson? Anybody from Jefferson here? Okay. Okay. And that is a book. That's for the Silver Spring book. That stays aside. And that just stays aside, yeah. So first place overall, there were 2 winners. Again, they had a hard time deciding this. Between the two, we'll announce just in alphabetical order. Mechanicsville Volunteer Fire Department and the Ridge Volunteer Fire Department received first place. Second place is the Bay District Volunteer Fire Department and the Potomac Heights Volunteer Fire Department. Third place is Cobb Island Volunteer Fire Department and Emergency Medical Services and the Jefferson Volunteer Fire Company. Fourth place was Benedict Volunteer Fire Department and Rescue Squad, United Communities, and Newburgh Volunteer Fire Department Rescue Squad. And in fifth place, we had the Manchester Volunteer Fire Department Ambassadors Program, the Carroll County Ambassador Fire and Life Safety Program, the Greenbelt Volunteer Fire Department and Rescue Squad Incorporated Program, and the Branchville Volunteer Fire Company. So congratulations, everybody. So if you want to come forward and take a picture. So everybody come forward. So this is the best part of this award. We're now going to announce the following departments have received the grant process. We were able to do 88 presentations this year because of the money that was given us through appropriations, so I can't say thank you enough to him. The Anne Arundel County Volunteer Fire and Rescue Association, the Abington Fire Company, the Arbutus Volunteer Fire Department, Bay District, Beltsville, Berwyn Heights, Bloomington, Branchville, Brentwood, Brunswick, Carroll, Cecilton, Charles County, Charlestown, Citizens Truck, Clear Springs, Community Fire Company of Rising Suns, Damascus, Eastern Garrett, Ellerslie, English Council, Ferndale, Forestville, Frederick, County Volunteer Fire and Rescue Association, Friendsville Volunteer Fire and Rescue Department, Glendon, Goodwill, Greenbelt, Hacks Point, Hampstead, Hartford County Ladies Auxiliaries Fire Prevention Program, Hollywood, Jarrettsville, Joppa Magnolia, Junior Fire Company Number 2, Junior Fire Company, Kentland, Kitzmiller, Lake Shore, the LAPGC VFRA Fire Prevention Program, the Laurel Volunteer Rescue Squad, Leonardtown Volunteer Rescue Squad, Level Volunteer Fire Company, Manchester, Marlboro, Maryland City, Middletown, Midland, Mount Rainier, Mount Savage, Myersville, New Market, Newburgh, Northeast, North Point Edgemere, Odington, Oxon Hill, the Prince George's County Volunteer Marine and Fire Rescue, the Prince George's County Volunteer Firemen's Association, Pikesville Volunteer Fire Company, Potomac Fire Company, Prince Frederick, Rawlings Volunteer Fire Department, Ridge Volunteers, Rock Hall, 7th District, Shaft, Singerly, Solomons, Sudlersville, Tacoma Park, United Company of Perryville, United Communities, Volunteer Company Number 1 at Chesapeake City, Volunteer Fire Department of Brandywine, Waldorf, West Lanham Hills, Western Enterprise, Westminster, Williamsport, Winfield, and Woodland Beach. And Hollywood. I did say Hollywood, I'm sorry. So if you're all up here, so come on up and take a picture. So we have the forms next, what everybody's going to be dealing with on how to get your grant and facilitate that. Again, it's $1,400 worth of items. Then it is, the only thing that's not imprinted with your name is going to be the helmet, and that's the MSFA's fire sprinkler helmet design. So Brian, how do you want to do this photograph? You'll turn them into us when we get done. We'll have a piece of paper once we take the photograph. Yeah, please. Yeah, kind of. So we're going to put Ashley over there with the ambassadors, and we're going to have everybody you're going to get a special piece of paper on your next steps on how to call Alert All, and then they will tell you what your next steps will be. Everything is going to be drop shipped to your fire station, so it's not going to be like somewhere coming to us and then we getting out to you all. Again, it's $1,400 worth of items. You got it for $100. So thank you all very much. They'll collect the checks over there in the corner. Again, thank you all very much for this. I have a PowerPoint that I'd like to show just real quick, but yes. With credit card, okay. All credit cards, you go to the financial team downstairs and then they will run your card for you. So go over there and they'll do the checks over there. Bobby Jacobs told me that they would take and do that. Okay. Thank you. I just want to go through some of the next steps. Hey, how do I do this? Oh, okay. So, hold on. What did I do, Joe? So I want to just do an update quick from the national programs that we have going on right now. Through the NFPA, again, we know that our message is not here yet. It will be October 8th through the 14th for Fire Prevention Week. And it's really important that take your abilities to get, like the fire marshal says, get back out into your communities, be able to do fire prevention the best way you can, find the nuances, find those programs that you all didn't think about. Really think outside that box, and hopefully what we'll be able to do is build a great gap. The next steps to safety, I'm working on a presentation right now with the NFPA. The NFPA has a program that used to be called Remembering When. That program is now Next Steps to Safety, and that's falls and injury prevention for fire prevention in the home for seniors. We're looking at July 20th and 21st at MSFA in College Park. It's a 2-day seminar. It's 8 hours a day, but you don't have to go to both days. And this is where you can engage your community in that program. The desk reference, the issue with the desk reference, as we've shared before, that has not been released yet. They actually are in NFPA right now dealing with this. And once that's designed, they'll send it out. They told us by September, again, that it's possibly there. And then Vision 2020, and this will be the last slide that I deal with. They have some great things happening right now for us. Community risk reduction will be January 13th through the 20th in 2024, with the insight of enforcement as our next message. And then what's really great is we have a new fire prevention program, and it's called Young Minds Inspired. That program actually allows you to engage 2nd and 3rd grade students, and it's teaching with the teachers. It's allowing the fire service, the fire and EMS service, to understand how to engage with a student. And there's a whole bunch of lesson plans, and once we are given the green light, it'll go on the website and notifications will be sent out. This is actually the program that, if you all do not know, when you are homeschooled, you have to have 24 hours of fire prevention classroom time. And they were able to, this program, Young Minds Inspired, actually does all of the all the lesson plans for someone that's homeschooled. We were able to incorporate this program into their lesson plan for Young Minds Inspired, and that's where it's going to be located. And that's what it is, a sound off home steps for safety. So again, thank you all for letting the Fire Prevention Committee come before you all, and we greatly appreciate all of the support that you've given, especially to the legislative team for allowing us to support this necessary. The next program that we will probably offer, and we're waiting to find out the final key piece, is we have an additional amount of money. We are going to be trying to secure, we are going to secure carbon monoxide alarms that speak in English and Spanish. And what's unique about these alarms are they actually speak to you in the actual issue. So no longer do you see a carbon monoxide alarm that it says LB. You know, a lot of people joke that's pounds lost. Well, in a carbon monoxide alarm, you know, that's parts per million. Well, a lot of people in our communities don't know what we know. So having that actually speak to you, that the parts per million is high, that you actually need to get out, how to get out, where to go, they actually tell you what to do. So it's designed by Knox, and the company called Presto has actually purchased this, and we're working with them to give us the alarms. Right now, currently, the only place that you can get the alarms is on Walmart.com, but we're working with them to secure this so that we are able to get the stuff necessary. What's important about this is it's giving that person who has a second language the ability to understand what's going on, and that, you know, they're actually working on other languages too, just not Spanish. So again, thank you all very much, and we greatly appreciate it. And once we hear this next grant round, we'll let everybody know. Thank you.
Our next is a legislative update and the Senator William H. Amos Memorial Legislator of the Year Award. Bob Phillips, Chairman of the Legislative Committee, along with the membership. Where's Jimmy? Ladies and gentlemen, let's give Jimmy Malone, Vice Chairman.
Good morning. Welcome to everybody. President Kurtz, Vice President Smothers, and Vice President Skip Carey, MSFA officers, members, and guests. I have the distinct pleasure and honor to be your legislative chair. And it's quite a task. I'm up here to I'm going to read my report if you want to read it. If you want some good nighttime reading, it's on page 49 and 50 in the book. If you want to go to sleep quicker, use it in the afternoon. It's good for a nap. This year, we had a total of 3,064 bills that were dropped. 1,365 in the Senate and 1,699 in the House. Now, truth be told, we do not read every one of these bills, but we do have to scan them. We have to find out, is there some impact to the first responder people, to our services? And that's what this committee does. Before I go any further, around here to my right, I have the Honorable Vice Chairman, Jimmy Malone. I have my Vice Chairman, Teresa Chrisman, and two of my members that are here today. I have Joel McCrae and Harv Wood, and somewhere out here, I haven't seen him for a little bit, I know he's here, past president, personal friend and member, also Chuck Walker. He's out there. There he is. Yes, please, Chuck, come on up here. We also have another, and this is what I'm going to refer to as the core group. These are the people that are in Annapolis every day. Somebody's in that office every day, and these people are the ones that get it done, quite honestly. This is what we call the backroom crew, I can tell you that. You know, we're scanning the bills, we're putting together testimony, going and giving testimony, making phone calls. This is the crew that puts it all together. This is who you have in Annapolis representing you. Some of the areas that we were able to get bills signed this year, we found funding for the statewide 988 system, tax credits to install AEDs in different places, property tax credits for first responders. There is a commission to study the funding for our trauma centers, and better protections for firefighter training. We have things going on with materials that are being used, OSB boards specifically, in firefighter training. We're regulating that out of existence. And a commission to study, this is the big one, a commission to study the recruitment and retention of our future firefighters. The volunteer fire service, every one of us knows, is going downhill when it comes to recruitment and retention. We need more volunteers. Well, we're trying to figure out how to do this. A study is going on at this time. It's been commissioned by state legislature, and then we're going back next year to see what we can do about it. It's not a small task, but it's being taken care of. We have improvements to our peer support program that was passed last year. These are the good things that were accomplished. Some things we went to work on didn't quite come up where we wanted it to be. The only one I'll speak about is our income tax subtraction, increasing it to $10,000 from what it is today. We've been working on this. We didn't quite make it again, but it'll be back again next year. We'll be working on it again for you. As everybody knows, it's a 90-day session. It's 13 weeks, starts in January, ends about the middle of April. Used to be, it was a 90-day session. That's not the facts anymore. It's a year-round obligation. Those 90 days, we're in Annapolis every day. We're up there working for all of you. After that, we get a little bit of a break. We come down here, we get our business done, and it starts back again immediately. We're already having discussions as late as just this morning. Things coming up, trying to get meetings put together to start on next year's agenda. It takes a lot of work. It really does. A few numbers from last year. And I'll use this back office, front office thing. It seems to work real well. I'm going to talk about the front office in just a minute, though. Total days last year, total man-hour days, 199 days. We had over 1,200 hours, and we drove over 18,000 miles, 18,713 according to the books. That's what was done. These hours and days I talk about have nothing to do with their travel time. They have nothing to do with what we do when we get home and weekends and all the paperwork we do then. But who cares? We don't care. It's just a number. The only thing that matters is what we get accomplished for our members. I'd like to say a few words about my team back here. Jim Malone, Vice Chair. For this past year, even with personal issues of his own, would check in with the office on a regular basis, wanting to know what was going on and giving us advice as to who to go see, or he's already made arrangements for us to see while he was home. Teresa Chrisman, Vice Chair, past President of the LAMSFA, who keeps the bulletin up to date, and that's not an easy task. She works with many of, not just for us, but for many of our partners. We have several meetings a week, and the other associations and other organizations and parts of the government that rely on the information that she puts together and puts out for them. Steve Wance, who is not here, I understand he's somewhere, but he's not up here with us today. Very sad. Again, he volunteered to come down to the office and work with us this year at the behest of Jim Malone, and he had his own health issues. Never stopped him from making a meeting, this wonderful thing called Zoom that we have. He was on the meetings, and again, he came in, he had his ideas, he had ways that he could help us out. Joe McCrae, in the office every week. Past president of the MSFA, he has a unique inside operations overview of what goes on in Annapolis because of his past. And he was in there working with us. Harv Wood, who has worked with the committee, both in two associations, the MSFA and the Maryland Fire Chiefs, for many, many years. He has his way of bringing in, he finds those small details that a lot of other people do not necessarily see. And Chuck Walker, who for several years was the chairman of this committee, past president of the MSFA. And again, he's been in and out of Annapolis for many, many years, brings that knowledge back. So all of this knowledge over here is what's getting things done for you. They just needed someone to write these things up and talk to you. That's why they made me the chairman. I'm not the one that runs this thing, that's for sure. And I will mention one last person. Richard Smith. Many of you know him. He passed away. We sadly miss him, but I will say this. He was there every day with us. Good for him. Now I talk about the front room ladies. Marion Nicholson, Rosa Mayer, Terry Hayden, and Barb McCrae. These ladies came in, took care of our front office, and it was not one day I ever entered that office, and I was up there pretty much every one. If they were not in there, they were getting things straight, always had a smile on the face, words of wisdom, or it was one of these, what's wrong with you today? You know, let's get this over with, quick, ain't got time to put up with this. And they kept things up to date. They took care of our mail. They took care of all of our bills. They got stuff filed. They were looking for hearings. They were putting schedules up on our calendars because they know how we are. We're probably going to forget something. And these are the ladies that took care of us and did a real fine job of it. Last year, I will speak for myself. It wasn't many days I went in. There wasn't some pastry of some kind there. And yes, I ate a lot of them. I had to buy a new belt, a couple new pair of pants. This year I got that a little better under control. I asked them not to bring so much in, and they still did a wonderful job. When it came to sine die, everybody made stuff and brought it in. We had people walking in, legislators, staff, and everything else. People came in and there was not a lack of food or people to talk to. And it's like a lot of things. The work did not always get done in the halls of legislature. It gets done in other places. And our office, fortunately, with where it is, we had a lot of people come see us. Last thing I'd like to bring up is that last year we had a reception, a legislative session that had not been done for a year or so because of the COVID situation. I am proud to announce that the MSFA will again have a legislative reception this coming year, January 16, 2024. Will again be at the Lord Calvert House. And if it's anything like the last one, we had a very good attendance with our partner groups and with legislators. It was a very productive time. We got off on the right foot with a lot of people. So with that, I would just like to say thank you to all of you for allowing us to do what we can do. From my point of view, it's a wonderful thing, and I enjoy it immensely. One of those things that you get to do and you don't never realize how good it is until after you do it. With that being said, I would come up to the last thing that we have, and I don't know where Steve Cox is. I think he should be around here somewhere. Guess not. We have an award that is awarded, I think it's sponsored by I'll read these. We have what we call our Legislator of the Year Award. We have one from the Senate and one from the House of Delegates. This is to be presented, and I believe he's here somewhere, Delegate Ben Barnes. Yes, please come up, sir. This is awarded, the award is sponsored by the Hartford Cecil Volunteer Firemen's Association. It says here, Delegate Ben Barnes, in recognition of his contribution in promotion of the betterment of the Maryland Fire Rescue and Emergency Medical Services through successful legislation and the legislative process, presented 20th day of June, by President Benjamin W. Kurtz. I don't read real well, but it will be my honor to give this to the good delegate. Sir. The next I would have here would be the Senator William H. Amos Memorial Legislative Award, Legislator of the Year for Senator William C. Smith, Jr. And it's basically, it says the same thing. but it would be presented to him. Not sure that he is in attendance today, but we will see that he gets this award. And we thank the good senator and the delegate for all their hard work in working with us. Please, a round of applause for them.
You're going to take a picture. I need to tell Chief Phillips what to do. So everybody get in a picture. Oh, okay. As Chief Phillips alluded, we lost a very valuable person in our office this year. And if you knew Richard, you would receive a phone call or an email by 4 o'clock in the morning. Why are you still asleep? I don't know, Richard. Am I supposed to roll over yet? He'd always make sure that he had read the bulletins because that kept him busy. That actually helped him through everything. Don't worry about what I'm doing. You walk over there. You walk over there. You might be in charge, but hello. That's right, Big Shirley speaks. So the hardest thing for us was losing Richard, such a valuable resource. And Chief Phillips and I both sat in that back room going, what do we do next? It was almost like, what would Richard do? What would Richard make us do? What kind of phone call or email would we receive? So in his honor, we have the Senator William H. Amos Memorial Legislator Award presented to Robert P. Phillips, Rescue Fire Company of Dorchester County, in recognition of your contribution in promoting the betterment of the Maryland Fire and Rescue Emergency Services through successful legislation of the legislative process. Presented this 20th day of June 2023 by Benjamin Kurtz, President. The award is sponsored by the Hartford Cecil Volunteer Firemen's Association. Congratulations, Chief.
That's all, folks.
At this time, the chair recognizes Richard Brooks for a presentation explanation.
You heard a little bit about this morning, but we have a good crowd waiting for the election results, and we wanted to make sure everybody understands this. Chief Bill Lay from the Joppa Magnolia Volunteer Fire Company in Hartford County submitted a recommendation that we needed recognition for those members who have achieved 50 years and greater. Recognition that they can display and wear on their dress uniform. This has been struck. There is an ample supply of these. It is a medallion that's to be worn on the breast pocket of your dress uniform. It's modeled after some military medallions that you may see in the uniformed services. The member company, all you need to do is submit a letter to the Secretary's office validating that you have these members who are worthy of this, and they will be forwarded or facilitated to you. The first one struck will be delivered to, I have it, it'll be delivered to Chief Lay, and we really appreciate the concept. This is long overdue, and it's tremendous for our members to have and wear. So congratulations to all our 50-year members. We'll look forward to seeing this on all the dress uniforms displayed. Thank you.
At this time, I call on the report of the election judges, Rick Hemphill.
Thank you, Mr. President. Okay, the results of the elections for 2023. There were a total of 349 companies in good standing with the Secretary. Total 20 past presidents voted and registered. The following officers were unopposed and elected by a single ballot cast by the Office of the Secretary. President Eric Smothers, First Vice President Skip Carey, Second Vice President Charles Simpson, Financial Secretary Mitch Volk, and the trustees Robbie Blackston and Teresa Collins. We had 5 proposed constitutional amendment changes. These amendments each require a 2/3 majority of votes cast for that amendment. Amendment number 1, Maryland State Firefighters Association name change. 652 votes cast for, 525 votes cast against. The amendment failed. Second amendment, change the name to MSFA, 135 votes for, 950 votes against. Amendment failed. Number 3, Maryland State Volunteer Fire Rescue and EMS Association, 125 votes cast for, 975 votes against. The amendment failed. Amendment number 4, Maryland Fire Rescue and EMS Association, 85 votes for, 1,012 votes against. That one also failed. Amendment number 5, which split Washington and Frederick counties on the executive committee, etc. 806 voted in favor, 300 against. That amendment passed. That's the report of the committee.
Under announcements at this time, once again, installation photos will be held in room 213, and that's at 4:30 in room 213. At this time, I call on Chief Chaplain John Long for the benediction.
Please join me for prayer. Almighty God, we're so grateful for all those who were recognized this morning for their awards. We thank you for their dedication, for their service to their communities. We thank you for their families that support them as they take care of the business that needs to be done. Father, now as we take this break, we ask you to be with us as we fellowship with one another and until we return this evening. We ask for your blessings. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Third session is now in recess till tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock.
Thank you, Mr. President. Well done. Perfect.